Hello and welcome to, the Concours 2018. And we start off with this part 1 being, with supercars. Can't go wrong with them. We'll be honest, they were a little bit dull. I say a little bit dull, this is a ultra rare Ferrari, but it looks like it's like Joker, really. McLaren 570, can't go wrong with 570 with the, silly doors. 650S convertible, nicely done. And of course, SLR McLaren. Haven't seen that before. And yes, there is a Veyron there. We'll see it in a part 2. It really wasn't that special. I've seen 5 of them now. Whoop-de-doo. However, the Aston Martin Rapide and its Vanquish sister made an appearance. So you can see the similarities and differences. Langenfelter brought their good old CTSV because the original one wasn't crazy enough, right? Alfa Romeo brought both their Stelvio and the Quadrifoglio. Yeah, how you pronounce it? I can't pronounce it, but very cool cars. I love them. They're some of my favorite cars on the market right now. Yeah, always glad to see them. All of the track toys, so the Lodi, i8s, her Alfa Romeos. This thing, I don't know what it is. It's a Italian roadster, but very cool. Mazda RX-7, and a ultra stance air suspension Mustang. Because how low can you go, really? I hear it's a champion in the limbo contest. Then we have Rolls-Royce with silly doors. It's like they said, it's like they were designing a car, then they realized they put the doors on the wrong way, so they just rolled with it. Now we got the older generation car, starting with this Lotus Esprit from '97. Gotta love the V8. It's a fantastic twin-turbo V8. And, yeah, I don't know, I think I put this in as duplicate, but anyway, Audi Quattro, just happened to revolutionize the world of rallying forever. So it was nice seeing that there. This is my second one I've ever seen. Buick Grand National Experimental, fastest quarter-mile car on the planet at the time, beating out the Ferrari F40. Then this crazy car, the Vector W8. I don't know anything about it, but it's very cool looking. And it does look like a Countach, but I assure you it's not. It's actually a very rare Pantera GT5S. So seeing these two bizarre 80s monsters was truly fantastic to see, especially I've seen a few Panteras, but I've never seen a Pantera GT5S. Now this is a Shelby concept from 2003, I believe. It's got a V10 from the Viper, and GT drivetrain, and this is the new Hyundai. It's another concept they just unveiled. A pair of Corvette concepts. This one here being a Stingray, and then we have a mid-engine Corvette concept. I think it's mid-engine anyway. It certainly looks like it. But, yeah. Now these are called SERVs, called Chevy Experimental Research Vehicle. This is the first one. Then we have the second one, which did 210 miles an hour in 1964, with 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. That sounds terrifying. And then there's the SERV 3. Looks like an NSX XJ220 Corvette hybrid with 225 miles an hour. It's absolutely mental. Now, where would we be in Concours without the pre-war classics? 1935, 1940s. They're some of the prettiest cars in the world, and some of the most expensive. You'll be surprised. This one, I think, looks fantastic with the little red lines and the trim and the silver. I think it looks exquisite. Yeah. Lots of cars. This one was actually exposed. This was prior to the frame being put. So this is just a frame. That was cool. Then we have all of the polishing. Just all of that must have been a nightmare to polish. Good old 1934 Rolls-Royce Phantom. Can't go wrong with that. Boat tails. Gotta love them. They look like the Jetsons would drive them. And why would you hate that? Now this, Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic Coupe, worth over $10 million, right next to one of 6 Bugatti Royale. I think this is from the Henry Ford, but if it wasn't, oh my, that would be crazy. But seeing these two cars in frame, about $40 million of cars in frame, That's something special. Now this is a really cool one, the Bugatti Type 35. This was actually in Forza recently. And the biggest thing about it, look at the camber on those front wheels. I don't know how that's useful, but apparently it works. And I had to throw this one in there because it's very green. Just green, lots of green. Now this is a very rare, we're going on the post-war 60s. That was a 1961 F5 Chevy Corvette. Pretty nice. Then we have a few Shelby Cobras. Now this one is really special. This is an original 1960s, 1950s Lancia. I've only seen a few Lancias in my lifetime, but that's fantastic. Then we have a De Tomaso with gull-wing doors. This is not the Pantera, it is one of their other models, and it's got gull-wing doors, but it's got nothing on the King, the 300 SL. I can't go wrong with that. Carmen Ghia, Thunderbird, probably my favorite of the 1950s boats. Because it's small, not too bad, and it can fit in your garage. Now, original 1968 Ford GT40 Mark III. You don't see these every day. Let's get that out of the way. You don't see a GT40 original every day. Streamliner Corvette, built for top speed, I believe, based on the fin, some racing heritage. Now, Porsche, 70th anniversary. They were in full force this year with the 918 edition of their 911 Spider, meant to celebrate the Porsche 918 hypercar. So that was very cool. I didn't know that existed, but there you go. Can't go wrong with the track monster, the rear-engined 911 GT2 RS. Held a Nuremberg lap record for a couple months. But you can't talk about Porsche without talking about racing. And they had quite a display of race cars here. Dating back for every generation, whether it be the 356, their first racing car for the road. The 550, which is about as tall as an ant. 718, a mid-seater. I thought it was a two-seater, but it's a one-seater center. So very cool on that one. I don't remember what this is. I think it's a 908 or a 904, but nice to see it. Now, this is a 904 for guaranteed sake. They just add that in a Forza, for that matter. 911 race car. Can't go wrong with the classic 911. It is iconic. Then we have the 1966 Le Mans car. Competed at Le Mans. It was kind of overshadowed by Ford versus Ferrari, but it's still very nice to see that historic relic. Now, speaking of Le Mans, well, we got Steve McQueen 1970 Porsche 917 and the 1971 Porsche 917. Both of these cars raced and won Le Mans in their respective years. You don't get to see these cars every day. It's fantastic, really. I never expected to see them, but there you go. Can-Am car, can't go wrong with the Gulf livery. Can-Am cars are absolutely mental machines to sing. They have a picture of it getting like 2 feet of air. It's crazy. Then we have some 911 like GT cars, not too bad. But if you want some really interesting stuff, you gotta look at this. The Porsche 934.5, the predecessor to the 935 Monster. It's got a big old wing. It's got a body kit because it's for Group 4. And it had to have the roof, the hood, and the doors the same, and nothing else. So it's got a crazy body kit. It's stripped out. It's got massive turbos. It's got a bit, it's everything. It's a monster. I love it. And I wanted to show this comparison. Here is the 911R, like their GT car. A little more stock, a little more normal. There is the Group 4 car. And there's a big difference, but I was amazed on you can see the vague similarities. Now this is a 928 race car. You can see it stripped out on the interior and a massive fuel tank. Can't come on a side X exhaust either, but yeah, look at that fuel tank was massive. I was surprised by that. Now this is also surprising. This is the last car, the Porsche Indy car. I didn't know Porsche raced at the Indianapolis series, but they raced in literally everything else known to man. So Indy, I guess, doesn't really surprise me, but very cool to see that. Didn't expect that in any way. And the final categories for cars, they don't really fit in. Like this Mercedes Unimog, they don't fit in a specific category, they're just kind of their own. Or this Hummer. So, yeah, I made this, like, oddballs and crazy cars. And we have the Monkey's Mobile, with a crazy supercharged V8. Weird side exit exhaust. It's like a GTO with bench seats, and it looks like a boat. I don't know it, but it's awesome. Then we had the funny cars, which share as much of a resemblance to other normal road-going cars as, well, NASCAR. Now, this was interesting. This is a two-wheel drive car, which means it's like a motorbike, but it has a car body on it, and it uses a gyroscope. You can just about see the wheel in there. It's very cool. I don't know how it turns, but the fact it moves at all is a miracle. And this car, we have two cars competing for the most hideous front end. This one has, like, braces, like, Bane-style stuff. And then there's, Pig Nose, with a beautiful color red. But, yeah, I don't know what the designer was thinking of when they put that nose. But the winner has to be these three. They cannot be separated, okay? These are the Jet Age cars, as I call them. They're basically fighter jets that are on the road. They have wings. This one's powered by a jet engine. I think they're from the Salt Flats. I don't know. They might have been prototype cars in the 50s, but, I mean, it looks like you're at an Air Force base with that photo. And they are glorious cars. Absolutely glorious cars. You never see them. I mean, I never expected to see those cars there. They're fantastic. So that sums up Concours. Part 2 will be coming out on Thursday for the Cars and Coffee. But yeah, Concours, not quite as good as last year, but very competitive. So that's going to be it for this episode. And I'll be back with more.